Hi, welcome to my channel. On this channel today we're going to play a chess game. So I'll play a game in 15, 10-second increment, give you my commentary. Again, if you're new to the channel, I'm about a 2100, 2000 expert chess player. And I'm just here to give you guys some commentary. I hope that this is instructive. So let's get started. So we're on chess.com and we're going to start a game in 15 with 10-second increment. All right, here we go. So we've got the black pieces today. Oh, wait. Maybe our opponent isn't here. Oh, there we go. E4. So let's play a Sicilian defense. All right, knight C3. So he's going for some sort of closed Sicilian rather than trying to play D4 early. So a closed Sicilian. Let's play G6 and prepare to fianchetto our bishop on G7. All right, F4. So we've got what's called a Grand Prix attack. So this is a very aggressive setup for white, trying to attack on the king side with either F5 or maybe E5 in the future. All right, knight F3. Let's continue developing. Notice that I'm trying to control this D4 square. White can choose between bishop b5 here or bishop c4. Bishop b5 is supposed to be a little bit stronger. All right, bishop c4. Keeping an eye on my f7 pawn. Right, this is a weak point for me. It's a square only defended by my king. All right, already, I'm thinking white's got ideas of knight g5 or f5. So I'm going to play e6 and sort of blunt this bishop's attack. Now I'm planning to put my knight on e7 to continue developing. I want to keep my bishop's diagonal as open as possible. All right, d3. Now I just want to castle and play d5. Right, this is the main thematic break in the Sicilian, especially in closed Sicilians. If black wants to play d5 and get a pawn in the center on the 4th rank. Now I think f5 is actually a move here. Alright, so bishop b3. Again, if I were to play d5, at least now white's bishop will not be under attack on c4. Alright, let's just castle, try to finish development as soon as possible, and now I'm aiming to play d5. And I think it is time to do that. Now white has to decide what they're going to do about this tension in the center. If he takes, then my bishop on c8 gets uncovered. So this is a typical Grand Prix attack maneuver. He's trying to swing his queen over to h4 and then play f5 followed by bishop h6, trading off my bishop and starting a pretty aggressive attack there. I don't want to break this tension too soon. If I take right now, he can take with the knight, right? bringing another piece towards the king side, or even taking it to pawn looks just fine. So typically you want to keep tension as long as possible. All right, so here I'm gonna play knight d4 with the idea of maybe trying to trade off this light squared bishop on b3. And if he takes, I'll take with the c pawn, open in my c file, maybe getting some pressure on the c2 pawn in the future. All right, and now I'm going to undouble my pawns by taking on e4. And I think this is relatively mainline for the bishop c4 variation. I actually played many games myself on the white side of this position. Black has ideas of fianchettoing on the queen side, playing queen b6, playing d3. All right, what to do? What to do here? All right, I want to get developed as soon as possible. Maybe just bishop d7 followed by bishop c6. Maybe. Or queen b6 actually has a threat of d3. And then I'm one move closer to connecting my rooks. Yeah, there's a lot of options here. I'm also looking at d3, c takes d3, queen takes d3. But I'm not sure that that is actually helpful for me. It might be helpful for white. Alright, he wants to play queen h4 followed by knight g3 and then f5. Okay. Alright, what about b5? The idea behind b5 is to keep this bishop kind of out of it, right? I don't want white to be able to play bishop c4 to d3. The problem with b5 is after queen b4, this pawn on b5 is a little tender. Also, a4 immediately is strong. What to do here? So I think I really should try to focus on finishing development. So either bishop d7 or b6 looks to be what I want to do. What one of those moves. Alright, I don't know for sure whether I want to play b5 in the future, so I'm just going to play bishop d7 rather than playing b6 and then later maybe b5. I mean, if White wants to play bishop c4 here and then rearrange his bishop on d3, then, you know, more power to him. I think, you know, that's something that I can allow. Yeah, and he does go for that. He does go for that. Okay. Alright, let's put my rook on the half-open C file. Let's do that. Just developing. Alright, and now... Alright, so he's defended E4 and C2. Let's play Queen B6 now, with the idea of maybe playing Bishop B5 and trading those bishops. Or maybe Knight C6 with the idea of Knight B4. That looks a little bit more aggressive. Knight C6, do I have to worry about F5? No, because then Knight E5. Alright, I like Knight C6. The reason I didn't play Bishop C6 is because then my Knight on E7 doesn't really have any squares. So I'll have to figure out what to do about this D7 bishop a little bit later. Alright, now he really might be threatening F5. But again, I don't think there's a lot of sting in it anymore. Alright, so I can't play Knight B4 because a queen takes B4, obviously. So, what to do? I could play Queen B6. I could also play A5. Alright, let's play Queen B6. Kind of going all in on the queen side here. The problem of Knight G3, there's a slight problem, is that his queen now is blocked, so at least it'll be a little bit slower for him generating an attack. Now, I do have an uncomfortable decision after F5, whether to allow that pawn to get to F6. I might not have much choice there, actually. Since he kind of controls this F5 square. Now, I could always play F5 to sort of stop F5, but then after e5, my d4 pawn becomes isolated. That's not something I'm eager to do. Okay, so he stops knight b4. He stops knight b4. Now what about f5? f5, e5. The attack kind of stops, but now this pawn on d4 could be weak. All right, let's see how to follow up here. So knight b4 stopped, but I can always play knight a5 and play, swing the knight to c4, attacking b2. Yeah, that's what I'll do. The more moves that white plays on the queen side, kind of defending, the happier I'm going to be, because he really should be focusing on getting this king side attack going. So the fact that he played a3 is a good thing for black. Now I have ideas of bishop b5, or even bishop a4, but bishop a4 you can just play b3. So bishop b5, try to trade off on d3, and then maybe jump in of the knight on b3. There's going to be some weak light squares here. If I can trade this bishop off on d3 and force c takes d3, both c2 and b3 are going to be weak squares. Alright, so he sort of sees this. Queen e2. Now again, the queen does not belong on e2 if we're attacking, because you can't swing it over to h5. But this move does stop knight c4, and it also stops bishop b5. Okay. Alright, what's going on here? If I play knight c4, I do have a tactic, sort of. Knight c4, bishop takes c4, d3, check. If the queen blocks, I have bishop d4. So it has to be bishop e3. And then d takes e2, bishop takes b6, e takes f1 check, rook takes f1, a takes b6. So what's going on there? I've lost my c4 knight. I'm sorry, I've lost a knight, a pawn, and my queen. But white has lost his queen, the rook, and the bishop. So actually, that's quite good for me. So knight c4 is a bit of a trap. He can't take. Bit of a trap. So what does he have to do? b3? Yeah, but then I have knight e3, and that's pretty strong. So let's try this. Let's be fancy. Now am I blundering? Because that could always be possible. No, I think I'm good. Let's do it. This is fun. This is fun. Best move might be rook a2. I think that's a hard move to find, rook a2. Protecting on b2, and also getting the rook off of this long diagonal where my bishop is sort of shadowing. Let's see what he wants to do here. How am I doing on time? A little bit more than 5 minutes. Not too great, but I do have the 10-second increment, so time is not really that important here. It's the position on the board that matters the most. Alright, so he just plays King H1, kind of a cowardly move. And guess what's his idea here? His idea is if I take on B2, he plays Rook B1, pinning my knight on B2. That's true. That's a point. All right, so my knight is under attack right now. I do have to move it. So it's either knight takes b2 or maybe knight e3. Yeah, I like knight e3. Because I don't think he should want to give up that c1 bishop. Although after knight e3, bishop takes d takes, he might be able to play e5 and claim my bishop is shut out on g7. Yeah, but that's not going to be permanent. It's not going to be permanent. Maybe I have f6 right away there, actually. All right, let's play knight e3. Okay, so rook f3. Now my knight can get out right now on g4 if it needs to. Let's see. I guess his idea might be to play c3, undermine my knight's defense. But after c3 takes, no, he can take the bishop. So I do have to be worried about that. All right, what to do here? What to do here? Now, e5 is interesting because e5 threatens bishop g4, and if he plays f5, then my d4 pawn is solidified. Kind of like e5, even though it blunts off my bishop on g7. Yeah. Let's play e5. Alright, now let's see. I can play. I might get a little risky here. I can play bishop h6, reposition my bishop onto this diagonal. But then after knight f1, that's a little bit awkward. Bishop h6, knight f1, g takes f5. Yeah, but then he has rook g3. Let me just take here. Try to play bishop c6, hitting the rook on f3, x right into the pawn on g2. Alright, knight takes. I can't live with that knight, so I have to take it. I have to take it. Let's take it. Alright, now do I have e4? No. Can I prepare it? I can play bishop c6, prepare an e4. Oh, this is getting dangerous. This is getting dangerous. Oh, what to do here? Maybe rook e8, threaten an e4. Now the idea here behind rook e8 just to create a square for my king, so that a queen takes h7 is not going to be checkmate. All right, so now he's threatening bishop h6. Oh, actually he's not because my queen covers it. So he's not actually threatening anything here. Not yet. Let's play now e4. Let's play e4. Now, if bishop takes, do I have rook takes, queen takes, and then rook e8? I think I do. I think I do have that. It's a clever little trap. Yes, I hope it's a clever little trap. All right, I'm getting into some time pressure here. Now, queen takes g7 is checkmate, unfortunately. So, I'm going to have to defend that. Do I have anything other than queen f6? I don't think so. So let's just play there. This is getting very risky. Risky business. I'm hoping that white will be punished for not developing his pieces yet, but he's almost there. But he's got bishop somewhere. So bishop somewhere is going to be, should be a good move. Although this bishop on d3 is hanging. Let's see what he wants to do. After bishop g5, I have queen takes f5, but then queen takes, bishop takes, and then bishop f6 or h6 wins the bishop on g7. It's getting a little complicated. Because that would win a piece, except for the bishop on d3 is still undefended, so hopefully I can avoid losing a piece. It might just be a very fancy trade. Alright, can I take on e4? And then the idea is I have a back rank. Let's do it. Now, I didn't see anything here for him, but that doesn't mean that there isn't something. Oh no, he had bishop g5, but now I'm going to win. Queen f1 and rook takes f1 will be checkmate. Alright, so he just resigns. Alright, that was a wild game. I have a feeling I got away with some things there. I definitely don't think I was, I think I was probably busted, honestly. I should not have allowed, probably, I shouldn't have allowed F5. When I played E5, that was probably a mistake. So let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. Alright, so E4, C5. Alright, so we got this bishop C4 Grand Prix. E6, book move, D3. Yeah, and so here actually, the theory is supposed to be E5. Just shutting off this bishop on G7, maybe preparing knight E4. And so I'm supposed to play E5 here, and let's see. What am I supposed to do here? Other than just develop. I actually think D5 might be a good response. Because after this, you know, I've uncovered my bishop. White's lost his e-pawn, which is a pretty big thing, because now it's going to be hard for white to get a pawn break in on the king side. Yeah, and so if he plays knight b5, knight e4, I can just retreat the queen. Everything seems to be okay. So let's see. Knight g7, bishop b3, castles, castles, and this is pretty typical stuff. Knight d4, knight takes, c takes, knight e2. Yeah, and so here I wasn't quite so sure what to do. I played bishop d7. Let's see. So, again, it looks like the computer likes b6, which obviously is another way of developing this bishop, putting it on the long diagonal. So b6 is definitely something I considered. Again, the idea is to play bishop b7 where it's on this long diagonal. Right, so let's see, bishop d7, bishop c4, and yeah, so again, white is just sort of losing a little bit of time here. Maybe he should be thinking about playing queen h4 or knight g3, or maybe even e5, something to get this attack on the king side started. Alright, rook c8. Alright, the computer doesn't like knight c6. It likes bishop c6. And again, just putting this bishop on this long diagonal. Now, my concern in the game was, like, what do I do about this knight on e7? But for now, that knight, you know, it is developed. It is keeping an eye on the f5 square. So it's a useful piece right now. And I guess you could consider continuing here, maybe with some sort of queenside expansion. Yeah, perfectly reasonable position. But I didn't play bishop c6. Instead, I played knight c6. Queen b6, threatening knight b4, stopping knight b4. Knight a5. Computer actually wants to play f5 and just stop this pawn break once and for all. So after f5, what I was worried about is this move, and now this pawn is a little bit tender. But here, maybe it's not super easy to win it. I think computer wants to play knight e7 with the idea of putting that knight on d5. Good central square. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty reasonable. Black can even consider swinging the rook over to d8 and then getting the bishop back into the game this way. So, in this structure, now that the bishop is blocked on e5, it's a good idea to try to get it over to c5 and so it can play on a different diagonal. Okay. Yeah, and here I played knight a5, queen e2, and queen e2 looked so strange. And I think I punished it well with knight c4, but actually computer disagrees. Computer disagrees. Um, Now, I took advantage of this tactic that this bishop can't really move, right? Because if it moves, I have d3 with check, and also the queen is under attack. So, actually, bishop b5 would have been a better way to take advantage of that than knight c4, because knight c4 had a threat against knight takes b2, but that threat actually was easily defended. While bishop b5, white's not going to be able to stop the trade of these light square bishops, right? And that's going to be favorable for me. So bishop e5 would have been better. Interesting. But knight c4, king h1, knight e3, rook f3, and again, white is putting his pieces sort of on some strange squares, but his idea is to undermine the pawn on d4. Let's see. Yeah, and e5 wasn't so good. E5 wasn't so good. Computer wants to play bishop a4, provoking b3. I'm not sure I see the point of this. I guess the point is that after b3 is played, white no longer can play c3 comfortably. I think maybe the bishop should be on d7 then, but I guess you put it on c6 so that it's a little bit more active. Interesting. I played e5, which I don't think it was a good move, because after f5, white is getting his attack. White is getting his attack. And I think I had an idea of bishop h6, but I was worried about knight f1. Although I guess I can always play back and recapture on h6. Yeah, something like this. But now this knight is out of play, right? Knight on the rim is grim, or dim. Okay. So I felt like I had to play here, but now white is really kind of crashing through. Let's see, knight takes f5. It's actually a mistake. Should have taken on e3, interestingly enough, and then taken on f5. Let's see. Of course, I traded blunders here. I'm supposed to take with the bishop. Yeah, I just thought that my bishop was going to be able to enter the game on c6, but I think that proved to be wrong. And now white is fine, I think. But here, rook fe8, trying to prevent mate on h7. Computer says it's equal, actually. So he goes for the g file. And rook g3 is apparently a blunder. I think the reason is I could have played e4 right away. I didn't have to wait for this. No, I did play e4. Okay, I did play e4. Yeah, and again, this tactic. If he takes on e4, I have rook takes e4, followed by rook e8, x-ray attack to e1, right? Attacking the queen. If the queen moves, there's no good way to prevent rook e1 check, followed by mate. Queen g4 is a try because you're attacking g7. Queen f6, defending, and now he took on e4, but that's no good. Let's look at what happens after bishop g5. So after bishop g5, what do I do here? He's threatening bishop takes f6. I think I have to play here. 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 And what's going on here? So I've got... I'm actually up a pawn? Is that right? What about bishop f6? Oh, bishop g6! That's the move I missed! I wonder if I would have found... I certainly would have found that if I got this position on the board, but I remember distinctly that I thought that this line was going to be fine for white. But after bishop g6, it's pretty much game over. Anyway, so I hope, and again, the way the game ended is with this tactic. Oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? Yeah, I think bishop g5 here. No, now I remember. This is what I thought was the matter. Yeah, here I'm supposed to play bishop f5, takes f5, with the idea that this bishop is pinned, right, because of the back rank checkmate threat. Yeah, but after rook takes e4, queen takes e4, rook e1. Oh, this is actually really bad. This is really bad because if white just plays bishop g5, I'm losing. I'm losing because he's threatening bishop takes f6, and he's also already up in exchange. Right? He's already up in exchange. So after something like this, yeah, I'm just down the exchange. So actually, this is pretty interesting. I was winning. In this position. I was winning in this position, but I had to play. But rook takes e4 is a blunder. Rook takes e4 is a blunder. So I should have played something like this. And now you can't take on f5 because of the pin, because of this pin. So he should have played something like bishop g5. But after this, this endgame, black is just up too many pawns. It's actually only one pawn, but his rooks are much more actively placed. Wow. Yeah, I definitely didn't see any of this during the game. Kind of fortunate. Kind of fortunate. So what I thought was my best move of the game actually was a game-losing blunder. Rook takes e4. But my opponent missed bishop g5, which is it's really surprising to me because your queen's under attack, so why not attack my queen, right? That's a typical idea. Attacking when you have a piece under attack, just attack something of equal value, right? That's a way of defending. And then bishop g5 finishes development and stops this rook e1 checkmate threat, right? So after bishop g5, I'm actually just considerably worse, just down the exchange. But queen d3, this obviously does not put up any resistance. See, it does end in a back rank mate. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did enjoy it, please consider hitting the subscribe button and keep an eye out for my future videos. All right, take care.